Nike is the world's largest sportswear brand. They earn around thousands of crore rupees every day. World-class athletes like Ronaldo, Rafael Nadal use their products. Would you believe that the one who built Nike was a field athlete himself and started his business from selling shoes in the trunk of his car? This is the story of Nike's founder, Philip Knight. Philip Knight was born in 1938 in a small town named Portland, America. Since childhood, he used to run very fast, and his ultimate dream in life was to be a great athlete. In school and college, he worked hard on his running and won many races. Along with running, Philip continued his education in 1962. He completed his MBA. He still wanted to continue running, but one morning during his practice, he faced reality. After dedicating his entire youth running, he had become one of the best athletes of his state. But he could not become a national and international level athlete. He was good but not great. He was 24 years old and now there was no issue to get better in athletics. Hence that morning Philip was with a heavy heart accepted that this was the end of his athletic career. He had failed in his dreams of becoming an elite athlete, but still he wanted to do something that would always keep him close to sports. Philip was deeply connected to his running shoes like every runner. That's why he decided that he would do shoe business. Then he remembered that during his MBA he had studied for several weeks during and wrote a detailed research paper on the business of running shoes. In his research, he came to know that Japanese camera companies, due to their improved qualities at low price, they had disrupted American camera market. According to his research paper, Japanese shoes could disrupt USA shoes market similarly and could overtake Adidas and Puma, the biggest companies of that time. It was a big risk to start a business on the basis of his college project. Philip had no other option and he decided that he will prompt import Tiger brand shoes from Japan and sell them in USA. Tiger shoes were manufactured by Japanese company named Onitsuka. So Phil collected its entire saving and took a flight to Japan. Finally, he reached Japan and took appointment from Onitsuka's office. He was very nervous before the meeting. A boy who was very shy and introvert by nature set out to partner with a big company. Moreover, Onitsuka executive asked Philip for the company name at the very beginning of the meeting. Don't know how, but Philip imagined the blue ribbons in his house. The same blue ribbon which he get from winning many races, and he said blue ribbon. He said he represented a company, Blue Ribbon Sports. No such company existed back then. One Onitsuka executives were happy with the name. Meeting progressed and Philip repeated his college project line by line. At the end, Onitsuka employees were so impressed that they wanted his company Blue Ribbon to sell the Tiger shoes in America. It was a deal. Philip gave them his address and asked them to send some of Tiger's training shoe samples. There was no limit to Philip's happiness. He transferred money to Onitsuka for the shoe sample and returned to America and waited for samples. 4 months passed and he didn't receive any shoe. In response to the letter, Onitsuka said that the shoe will arrive soon, but this did not happen in reality. Philip had not given up hope, but he needed a job to survive until shoe arrived. So he took the job of an accountant in a short firm. It had been almost a year since the meeting with Onitsuka. By the Philip had almost lost his hope when a notice came from the custom. There were 12 shoes from Japan. After collecting the shoes, Philip unboxed them and showed the shoes to his college coach Bill Bowerman and told him about his business plan. Bowerman liked the shoes so much that the very next day he offered Philip to be 50% partner. Philip was quite surprised with his offer. Bill Bowerman throughout his coaching career was obsessed with one thing, and that was shoes. He had been experimenting with shoes for years and had become an expert in shoe design. His full focus was on making the shoe lighter. He would often take away shoes of his students without asking and would return them after tearing the shoe, performing minor modification for several days. The athlete's performance would massively increase after his modification. They shook hands and now both of them were 50-50 partners. The same day, Phil wrote a letter to Onitsuka and asked for exclusive distributorship rights to sell the Tiger shoes in Western USA. Also placed first order of 300 shoes at a cost of $1,000. This time shoes came on time and Blue Ribbon got exclusive distributorships rights for West USA. This is what Philip was waiting for. He immediately quit his accounting job so that he can focus completely on his business. He stored the shoes in the basement of his parents' house. This was the office of Blue Ribbon now. It was time to sell shoes. Now Phil requested many sports shoes to sell the Tiger shoes. Everyone refused to sell Tiger shoes in their shop. Phil didn't have money to open his own shop, so he came up with an idea. He would fill the trunk of his car with shoes and started reaching wherever there was an athletic competition. He spoke to coaches, athletes and spectators and started presenting his shoes. Phil had tried sales jobs before, was not successful. This time the response of customers shocked Phil. His shoes were selling like hot cake. He had been an athletic himself, so understood athletes' problem very well. Hence, he was easily able to convince customers that Tiger shoes were best for them. In just 2 months, he sold the first shipment of 300 shoes and placed an order of 900 shoes this time. But his total earning was just $2,000 and the total cost of the order was $3,000. So Phil asked for a $1,000 loan from the bank for the first time. Looking at the strong business of Blue Ribbon, approved the loan and Phil finally had a career that he was enjoying deeply. He had a trusted partner like Bill Bowerman and product that was selling by itself. In short, Phil was having a great time. But then there comes a twist in the story. A wrestling coach wrote a letter to Phil. He claimed that he had just returned from meeting with Onitsuka in Japan and that Onitsuka has given him rights to be exclusive distributor for whole of America. Coach orders Phil immediately stop Tiger shoe business. Only 2 months had passed since Phil started business and on the verge of closure. He immediately wrote a letter to Onitsuka asking for clarification, but there was no response from them. So Phil decided that he will go to Japan and confront Onitsuka. During this meeting, Phil made it clear on how he had been wronged. He presented his argument for strong sales and explained future plans. Next day, he directly met company owner Mr. Onitsuka. He instantly trusted Phil. Mr. Onitsuka said that Phil's passions reminded him of his youth days. And he gave Phil Western USA distribution ship again. Phil was relieved, but the problem were far from over. Blue Ribbon achieved $8,000 in sales at completion of first year of business. They hired a salesman named Jeff Johnson to expand in another city. Jeff's specialty was that he had also been an athlete like Phil. He was extremely passionate about his work, and that's why sales reached $16,000 in second year of business. That means it was going to be double, but surprisingly this became a big problem for them. Phil wanted to grow very fast, so as soon as one shipment is sold out, he would double or triple the order. They had to reinvest their entire profit for payment of the order. They also had to take a loan from bank. Basically, after 1 year's business, Blue Ribbon had incurred debt of $1,000 and cash flow was negative, due to which the bank refused to give them further loan, and suddenly there was no cash to run the business. Phil had to arrange for the money somehow for Blue Ribbon's survival. Hence, he took up the job of an accountant at PwC. He started investing his entire salary in his business. On the other side, his partner Bill Bowerman was working to improve Tiger shoes. Bowerman realized that Americans' body is longer and heavier in comparison to Japanese. That's why their shoes should also be different. Bowerman tore Tiger shoes to conduct many experiments. A turning point came when he combined the best features of different Tiger shoes and designed an ultimate distance training shoes for Americans and named the shoes Cortez. Onitsuka started manufacturing of Cortez shoes and the shoes became super successful as they entered the American market due to Phillips and management and Bowerman's shoe design. Tiger shoes was one of the top shoe brands in the entire America in next 5 years. Sales touched 1.3 million by 1971 and the business was doubling year by year. With this, Phil quit his job and joined Blue Ribbon full time. He was going absolutely perfect when a huge blow came from Japan. Seeing the success of Blue Ribbon, Onitsuka felt greedy. They wanted to keep entire income from Tiger shoes for themselves. They give an ultimatum to Phil that if he does not sell 51% of Blue Ribbon's stake to Onitsuka, they will give the distributorship of America to someone else. Phil felt quite shocked and hurt. It was big fraud. Onitsuka had crossed all limits by talking to them about buying Blue Ribbon, and so Phil took the biggest decision of his life. Phil gathered his team and told them that this was the moment which we all were waiting for. The time to sell someone else's brand was over. Now it's time to create our own brand. With this, he broke up the partnership with Onitsuka and decided to manufacture shoes of his own brand. The first step was to create a new logo. Phil wanted his brand's logo awaken a sense of running, sense of motion, a sense of victory. Plus, the logo must fit the side of the shoe. He hired a graphic designer student that designed the logo. After a few students showed several designs, employees selected a curved logo that looked like a thick check mark. Philip thanked the graphic design student for the help and paid a fee of $35. After the logo, the next step was to the brand name. Falcon, Dimensions, 6 were suggested, but the first salesman of the company, Jeff Johnson, told everyone that he saw a very good name in his dream last night, and the name was Nike. In Greek, the goddess of victory is called Nike. That's why the name was suitable and accepted. After this, Phil hired a third-party manufacturer to make shoes. Nike sent them designs and shoe manufacturing started. Finally, Nike brand shoes were launched for whole world officially on 30 May 1971. But unlike today, no one knew Nike at that time. Plus, brands like Adidas, Puma and Tiger were big competitors for Nike, which were capable of crushing a new brand. That's why Phil used a strategy for marketing Nike, which nobody used in 1970. They saw that the runners like to wear shoes of the same brand, which the world's best athlete wore. So Nike got into a deal with the best runner of that time, Steve Prefontaine, to promote it at $5,000 annually, and Nike became one of the first brands that used athletics brand endorsement as marketing strategy. Phil's second strategy was to strategically select his sales team. Nike always chose to hire people for sales team who were either athletes themselves or were very passionate about athletics. This meant that the sales team could understand problems and need of its customer who were mostly athletes, which ultimately lead to improved quality of the product design, sales and after sales service. Apart from these two strategies, Phil grew Nike using his experienced old customer base and taking advantage of Bowerman's shoe design. As a result, Nike became a team of 2,700 employees by 1980. He recorded sales of $2 million and had become USA's largest athletic company by beating Adidas. Phil finally felt that he had created the strongest athletic brand in USA. But then a company entered, which shook up Nike. It was Reebok. Nike's main focus was always to make its best for sports. Look and never their focus. But in 1980, a major change came through in fashion trend and athletic shoes taste. The people were not happy with just a strong, better performing shoes. They wanted a shoe that had attractive looks and was stylish along with the performance, and Reebok gave the customer just that. Eventually customer started getting disconnected with Nike. The company suffered losses for the first time and had to lay off employees. Reebok surpassed Nike in 1986 as the biggest athletics shoe company. Nike had to do something magical quickly to survive and grow, and for this purpose Nike chose a magical basketball player, Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan was an emerging player. Then Phil knew that he would be great and legendary player in future. Nike signs Michael Jordan as brand ambassador. Nike also launched basketball sneaker called Air Jordan, named after Jordan. Earlier basketball shoes were quite ordinary and boring before Air Jordan. Air Jordan changed basketball shoe trend with its bold colors and stylish designs. Air Jordan became the historical shoe that brought sneaker culture in the whole world. Also, Michael Jordan was also in the phenomenal form then. Michael promoted the shoe by wearing it during games. Along with this, Nike also released shoe ads with Michael. Air Jordan, it's all imagination. This led Air Jordan to emerge as powerful as combination performance and style. Nike sold $100 million worth Air Jordans in the first year of launch and finally overtook Reebok. Nike never stopped after this success. In 1990s, they expanded globally. They started conquering countries one after the others, took entry in others sportswear other than shoes today. Nike is the world's largest sportswear brand with valuation of around 12 lakh crore rupees. Philip and Nike journey is real phenomenal. The most important lesson in this journey is execution. Philip said in his book, Shoe Dog, let everyone call you crazy. Just keep going on, don't stop. Don't even think about stopping until you go there, no matter what anyone says. If you are passionate about an idea, then take calculated risk and execute it. Nike's tagline also says the same things. Just do it. Hope you will like this video and must subscribe our channel for more interesting and informative videos. Thanks for watching.